Good morning, everyone. It's another beautiful day here. We had the most amazing red sun here going down. Reason? All the fires that are happening in Canada right now, and maybe elsewhere closer. I can still see, if I look out here, I can see a haze. I'm not sure if that is still what that is about, but the sun was it was just blood red. And again, is every sign in the sky some sign? No. If you know why certain things happen in the sky, it's just what? Yeah. Oh, warning. How about many things that happen in nature or can be a warning. It's not just, oh, it's so beautiful and I don't know what. Oh, wait a minute, that's a warning. There are fires going somewhere. And what does that mean for the people who see that? Yes, and how do you, well, in the case here, what you do is, what I do is send a prayer to where all this is happening. Is it good where it is happening? Are these fires somehow just needed every once in a while? Because controlled burn, for example, in a forest can be really rejuvenating, right? Yes, controlled burn. Controlled burns can get out of hand. So should one just let nature take its course? I think so. But anyway, so I had a friend who literally could look at the mountains and see what's going on, and it's going to rain. It doesn't look like rain at all. How would you know it's going to rain? Yeah, he just lived there for so long that he knew the signs. He knew the signs. Oh, it's great to know the signs, right? Sure enough, about 30 minutes later, here comes a storm that was nowhere visible before, right? And it's handy to have that kind of knowledge, that kind of experience, that kind of paying attention to what nature is doing, and then knowing, oh, yep, this is what's going to happen, and prep for it. So, yeah, a lot of signs in the sky, otherwise around in nature, are not just so beautiful. Oh, that looks so great. I mean, it looked great. Blood red sun. Wow, I've never seen anything like this before. I have now. I tried to make a picture. You can't. It doesn't show up the way it looked. And I went upstairs and I said, "Hey guys, did you see that blood red sun? Is that the sun or the moon?" And my son-in-law says, "No, that's the sun. It's going down that way." And I'm going, "Oh," I said, "why is it so red?" And he says, "Oh, it's because of the fires that are going right now up in Canada. And we're getting the smoke, part of the smoke, the atmosphere that's happening there. And that's what's causing, you know." And I thought, wow, I thought about that. I thought, wow, warnings in the sky, right? Yes. Created naturally by what else is going on around the world, close by us. I find that interesting. Anyway, again, we're having these hot, humid days, but at the same time, suddenly the storm rolls in and waters that. I think I watered our plants here twice since I've been here. So the weather is great. It's so balanced here. Yes. Why can it not be everywhere like that? Okay. That's what I call then. Yeah. Working with God. Yes. Accepting certain things that are just the way they are, or having that energy as a human being, as human beings, to want good for Earth. want good for mankind. Makes a difference. Yeah. Okay. I was going to mention something else. Now I forgot. Okay. Guess I don't need to mention. Sleep so good these days. I really do. It's like, uh, uh, that takes me longer to come out of the sleep mode. Yes, yeah. I'm still someplace else. Whatever I do when I sleep. That's so cute. My granddaughter, I can't remember if I already mentioned that or not. My granddaughter, she said, Rosie, you know, a few days ago, I couldn't sleep. There was something going on. And yeah, she got a little bit in trouble over something. Nothing that she should have gotten into trouble for, I think. But again, I'm very partial to my grandchildren. Very. And I guess it was somewhat bothering her, and she had a hard time sleeping. And she said, you know what, Rosie? You know what I did? The next night, I prayed. I prayed before I went to sleep, and I slept so good. And then I prayed again the next night, and I slept so good. And it was just her telling me the story. I just looked at her and go, that is. And I told her, that's how you find God. That's how you get to know God. I said, well done, my darling. Well done. Yes, so, well, don't we teach our children? You know, when in children something like that just becomes a routine or a practice, then they're missing out on their own experiences as well, right? Yes. We had a nice conversation afterwards, and I love that she came and told me that to start with, right? Yes. Because she knows she can't come to me and tell me that, right? Yeah. And on how she's spiritually growing with that as a 10-year-old. Yes, yeah. Having her own experiences when it comes to that. Yes. I think force-feeding God to anyone is a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. Guidance is what we do. Guidance is what God has done all through our existence. Okay, so we are in. I've not been marking. I know I did this one. I know I did that one. All right. Oh, we're still in Samson. That's right. I got a message. I sent a message to a friend, a brother in faith, who needs prayers, I think. Yes. Wonderful brother. I told him, I said, I'm just about done with the book of Joshua. I said, that was some time back. And he says, I love the book of Joshua. He says, God's promise is always there. That's what he's on. God's promises are always there, again and again and again. I thought, oh, it's just given. What's the positive in all this? God's promise is always there. It just is. What are the people doing with it? This is the question. So we're in Judges 14. Samson marries. Samson went down to Timnah, and at Timnah he noticed a woman, a Philistine girl. He went home again and told his father and mother this. At Timnah, he said, I noticed a woman, a Philistine girl, so now get her for me to be my wife. My goodness, dear, look at the son, how he talks to his parents. Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess the parents were told he's somewhat special, so he's raised what? Anti-authoritative or something? Okay, right. My kids would come and tell me that. I'd say, go in your room, come back out, and then ask properly. When you know how to ask properly. Golly. So now, get her from to be my wife. His father and mother said to him, is there no woman among your brothers, daughters, or in our entire nation for you to go and take a wife among these uncircumcised Philistines? But Samson said to his father, get that one for me. She is the one I am fond of. His father and mother did not know that all this came from Yahweh, who was seeking grounds for a quarrel with the Philistines, since at this time the Philistines dominated Israel. Okay, so right here. Oh, okay, so let's make an excuse for Samson immediately. Yet, what did God tell the Israelites? Don't go and get outside women. Don't do that. What's the reason for that? I think we know by now that the Israelites, their foundation of faith is just not there. And God knew that. He knew that. I need to make sure that they stay separate for a while. I understand that. To first become really strong in what I'm guiding them in and teaching them and what it is to be a people together. But the Israelites weren't doing that. And here now, and the excuses are ready, which now brings me to what I forgot before. I heard an interesting one just a few days ago. Did not know that, never heard of that. I was raised a Catholic. So we have Fridays. In our family, Fridays, you didn't eat meat. You were able to eat fish, and really, honestly, when it comes down to it, to me, there's no difference in fish and meat. Well, there is. Well, okay, to me there isn't. Okay, because fish, I could eat fish every day. I could just live on sea meat. Okay, I don't have to half the other meat. And I'm literally, I mean, if I had a choice, okay, what would you rather have? I'd go, give me the sea stuff. And so I was always really excited for Friday to see. We had a lot of fish sticks. Well, they were cheap, and that was allowed. But I liked fish sticks. Our fish sticks in Switzerland, they were good. Well, at the time I was growing up. So we had fish sticks a lot. And then I had an uncle that fished a lot, and so sometimes we had fish. My mom wasn't a fan of that kind of fish, though. It was just my mom. Anyway, but my aunt, she was such a great cook. Okay, all right. And then Lent, during Lent, and it was the same thing. You didn't eat meat, but you could eat fish, anything fishy. And it's supposedly a sacrifice, during Lent. But to me, I have to say that once I started to understand what that really meant and what it was for, to me, just eating fish that was no sacrifice to me. I loved it. I loved that time, yes. And even as a child. And I started to understand that not eating at all, like fasting a meal, was really the ticket. That was it. Or fasting for a day or 2 days or 3 days. That was it during Lent. Certain other things as well. You really curb your desire to acquire things, right? Yes? Yeah. We were taught as children to save all our money and then give it to the church during Lent. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's a type of grooming too, isn't it? But anyway, but the thing is again, right? As a child, I understood, okay, what that was for me. Yes, what that was meant. And it was, and no candy. You saved all your candy. You know, you didn't have to give that away. Then you could, after the Lent was over, then you could eat the candy. Yeah. Oh, I accumulated sometimes little half. Yeah, okay, we didn't get a whole lot of candy, but if we did get it during Lent, then it had to be all saved. Oh, I was wouldn't believe how consistent I was with that. Oh yes, of course, one wanted to eat the candy. I was really obedient to the to all of that stuff. I know that my brother and sister, I know of other children who there was also during the month of May, there was a time where you went almost every evening, or certain evenings, I can't quite remember it now, but you went a lot to us children to Bible study. And it was specifically during the month of May, Mary's month, right? Mother Mary's month. And I know of a lot of children who just skipped that. Didn't go. Oh, I would have been. I would think about, oh, I could just skip that too, and I would feel guilt-ridden. Yeah. Oh, I never went home and told my mom, oh, by the way, sis and brother weren't there. Yeah. That wasn't my problem. But for myself, I couldn't do it. When I said I'd be going to church, I'd be going to church. I wouldn't just, do something else. Couldn't do it. Didn't really want to do it either. Isn't that something? I guess children are just different too. Well, anyway, so the Catholic Church, though, decided that capybaras. Do you guys know what that is? It's a rodent. It's a cute rodent. It's quite big, much bigger than other rodents, and it loves to swim and be in the water. But it's in the family of the rodents, it's meat. It's just meat. But the Catholic Church, because they had webbed feet and loved water so much, put it in the category of what? Fish. With muskrats as well, and beavers. And I heard that, I said just a few days ago, and I thought, my goodness, if that is not just right there, circumvent a rule. I don't know if it was man-made. I don't know if the rule of only eating fish was man-made, or if it was a guidance of God. I've never heard of that how that didn't. I should go and look that up, right? How did that come to be, that you can't eat meat? Well, that was one thing that most likely men decided that, okay, the Catholic Church decided that, well, so what would be a sacrifice for people, right? Yes? Well, there's Catholics all along places like the ocean. They already don't get a whole lot of meat. They eat a lot of fish. So to them, what's the sacrifice? Okay, just saying. So here, right, capybaras are okay to eat during Lent on Fridays. That's circumventing. Again, how can you just not really make that and sacrifice, or how can we circumvent our own rule, okay, and classify an animal where it doesn't belong just because it likes to swim? Yes, bears like to swim too. Polar bears, they love to swim. Yes, so is that a fish? No, just say. Yeah, so right there, say, wow, how seriously are these bishops, priests, bishops, the Pope, how seriously are they taking their job? If it's a job, I guess it's just a job, right? Yes? And how are they guiding the people? With rules that they established then. Okay, but leading them into what? Temptation and sin. Yes? No, just saying. I'm not wrong. If men didn't want it, it wouldn't exist. Oh, it was a guy, by the way. Okay, some, I guess a priest or a bishop, maybe a cardinal, I don't know, went and asked, can't we just, they're kind of are part of the fish population, so we could eat them. So what? So one of their own, ordained, went and decided that, well, I gotta have meat. I don't want to eat fish. Circumvented his own sacrifice that he could have made. Okay? Because it seems like that to me means maybe he didn't like fish. Ugh. And couldn't be without fish for a short amount of time. Wanted something that was meaty, but classified as fish. But they're not classified as fish. They're rodents. Couldn't do it yet. Okay. Well, here we go again. God had specific instructions for the Israelites. Nobody cared. Oh, but made excuses. Yeah, but that was instigated by Yahweh because Yahweh wanted a conflict with the Philistines. Yeah. And so that made perfect sense. Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Oh. Who wouldn't agree, right? Samson went down to Timnah, and as he reached the vineyards of Timnah, he saw a young lion coming roaring towards him. The Spirit of Yahweh seized on him, and he tore the lion to pieces with his bare hands as though it were a kid. But he did not tell his father or mother what he had done. Oh, why not? He went down and talked to the woman, and he became fond of her. Not long after this, Samson went back to marry her. He went out of his way to look at the carcass of the lion, and there was a swarm of bees in the lion's body and honey. What? He took up some honey in his hand and ate it as he went along. On returning to his father and mother, he gave some to them, which they ate too, but he did not tell them that he had taken it from the lion's carcass. His father then went down to the woman, and Samson made a feast there, as is the custom for young men. And when the Philistines saw him, they chose 30 companions to stay with him. Oh, interesting. That part about the lion, and then the bees and the honey. You know what that reminded me of? Adam and Eve, the apple. Yes? Then bringing it to Adam. Say, hey, yeah, something went on there. And it's not really further explained on why he didn't say anything or this or that. Right? Yeah, okay, all right. Samson's riddle. Samson then said to them, let me ask you a riddle. If you can give me the answer during the 7 days of feasting, I shall give you 30 pieces of fine linen and 30 festal robes. But if you cannot tell me the answer, then you in your turn must give me 30 pieces of fine linen and 30 festal robes. Ask your riddle, they replied. We are listening. So he said to them, out of the eater came what is eaten, and out of the strong came what is sweet. That's why they told us the honey story. But 3 days went by, and they could not solve the riddle. On the 4th day they said to Samson's wife, cajole your husband into explaining the riddle to us, or we shall burn you and your father's family to death. Oh, I remember this story being told a little different, but here you go. She was threatened. Did you invite us here to rob us? Samson's wife then went to him in tears and said, you only hate me, you do not love me. You have asked my fellow countrymen a riddle and told not even me the answer. He said to her, I have not told even my father or mother. Why should I tell you? She wept on his neck for the 7 days that their feasting lasted. She was so persistent that on the 7th day he told her the answer, and she told her fellow countrymen. So on the 7th day, before he went into the bedroom, the men of the town said to him, what is sweeter than honey, and what stronger than a lion? He retorted, if you had not plowed with my heifer, you would never have solved my riddle. Then the Spirit of Yahweh seized on him. He went down to Ashkelon, killed 30 men there, took what they wore, and gave the festival robes to those who had answered the riddle. Then, burning with rage, returned to his father's house. Samson's wife was then given to the companion who had acted as his best man. Ooh. So, well, there you go. I remember how I was told this story. Maybe there's more coming up because he still has his hair. Another woman, I guess. It amazes me on how Samson didn't even ask her. He said, "Why are you asking me? Are they threatening you? Or is there something going on that you should tell me?" Nope, no. And it sounds like he was just a big old brute. Okay, don't know. No idea. And, yeah, well. Also, when one challenges someone else, right, to a bet or something like that, you must make sure that if you lose, you have what you want from the other that you have to give what you want from the other person as well, right? But what did Samson do? Oh, I can't even. It's this story. How many of the commandments are being broken right there? Right? Yes, and the guidance and direction of God. Yet they're making Yahweh every bit of that. Oh, Yahweh came down on him. Really, was that God that came down on him? Well, sometimes I question the heroes in the world, or that are acknowledged heroes for one thing or another, and how they got their elevated status. Yes. They shouldn't be acknowledged as heroes. And then there are the ones that should, yeah, that's amazing. That was really, they don't get any kind of recognition. Because, why? When you come across people who are really good and who stick with a proper way of life in everything, just about, people around them get intimidated. They don't like that. They don't like to be faced with someone that actually tells them, you should do better than you are doing yourself. Look at this person. That's a hero in this world. But people get intimidated and do what? Trying to tear a good person down. That's what people do. Yes. So one doesn't have to change one's own bad habits, sinful life. That's what it is. Interesting. It's in the Bible. Starts right there in the Bible. Yes. Judges. The book of Judges. Teaches us a lot from the past. How that went. And again. God's being pulled into a story like that. As if. Really. Doubt it. I doubt that that was the Spirit of God got a hold of him or this or that. I doubt that very much. Warnings, warnings, warnings coming out of that book of Judges towards us. Warnings, warnings, and they still apply today. Yes. Well, that's kind of all I have to say today. We have things to do. I've got to figure out how to, I wanted to build a little kiln ourselves, but Yeah, gotta be careful. It might be too hot. It gets really, really 800 degrees. That's too hot for right now, even though we had rain and all this. One wants to be careful anyway, right? Yes. So, I'm gonna try the stove upstairs and just low fire everything, yeah, so they can paint things. All right, well, that is it for today. Oh, I got a container full of echinacea blossoms, and now I got to do a little studying. I've never processed echinacea before. It doesn't sound complicated, but I like to do a good amount of reading before I get into an herb I've never worked with, really. And I'm really excited to have all that echinacea. That is a good amount that I can work with. Yes? Yeah. Thank you, Father. So happy about that. Coming up out of my daughter's garden. Yes, I started one at home myself, but it's not ready to be harvested like that. It still needs a year or two to propagate a little more. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. I love it. Oh, my daughter made the most amazing salmon burgers last night. I mean, they were so good. There you go. And then today, I talked about the capybaras. I talked about, yes. I love the guidance of God. The guidance and teachings of God are not a burden to me. I'm grateful for it. And I hope that as I get older, I get more fine-tuned to really listen. And hopefully become fine-tuned enough to really give good teachings out there, yeah, with these videos. Yeah. I hope. Make my Father proud. Yes. Okay. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will. Talk to you another time.